Playing defense in college football 26 can feel like an absolute nightmare if no one's showing you what to do or you don't know what you're doing. Luckily for you, in this video, I'm breaking down the new best defense that you need to be using here in CFP 26, and the best part is it's super easy to run. I'm going to show you the best blitzes, the best coverages, the best settings you need to be using so that you can really take this scheme in your next game and dominate. You're not going to miss out on anything I have for you in this video, so let's jump right into it. Alright, the first thing any defense needs is a glitch blitz to get the quarterback on the ground in a hurry. Let me show you one of my favorites right now from Single Mug. Alright, so we're going to come into nickel 3-3 single mug. I believe this formation should just be in every defensive playbook in the game. I am in the 3-2-6 defensive playbook right now, but we're going to come into, single mug here. We're going to start with the Texas format, custom stun. Alright, this is going to be our glitch blitz here, so to speak, because it just screams in the backfield against the most common pass protection type in the game, which is going to be base protection. And also, it's only a 4-man rush, so it's really not even a blitz. You're just able to utilize a lot better, you're able to better utilize your rush angles and, stunts and twists. So all you're going to do really, pass can be your defense as always. Especially if you know they're passing, if it's an obvious passing situation. If they run the ball and you pass commit, you could be screwed for a big gain, but it's like you get a good feel for your opponent, you pick up on tendencies, you know the down and distance, you probably know when they're going to pass the ball. So to make it better, you want to pass commit, right? But all you're going to do is stand over the center, and then you're just going to watch the magic happen where those ends are going to be looping around and through the A gap, which a lot of times is going to confuse the center. The better you're able to get the attention of the center, right, just confuse him. You're not trying to engage with him. You're pretty much just trying to stand over him and confuse him for just a second, kind of like what I'm doing right here. Make him pick his poison. It's just a small little loop, and then you're going to be able to get one of your edge rushers to come shooting in the backfield free time and time again. So you're just going to notice it right here where these guys, especially also when you add quick jump or you have really fast defensive linemen, that's going to make this even better here for you. But you're able to see these guys just looping around and through this gap, and then you're also able to see the same thing on the other side. So that's really what makes the 4-man stuff so good, because you're able to get it on both sides, and then the center really has to just pick his poison, probably just takes the first guy he sees, and that leaves the second guy. But again, don't forget about this. This is the critical part. My user, how I'm standing over the center, occupying him for just a second, and then I'm getting back into coverage. I'm not turbo engaging with him. I'm not D-pad switching. I'm simply standing over him and trying to occupy his attention for a second, confusing him, which allows for one of our guys to come in free off the edge. But you're going to say, BLT, I do this stunt all the time, and the problem that I run into is I can't contain the quarterback, and that is, part of the problem. That's kind of the point of the stunt, though. You have to sacrifice something, but what they're going to do, they're just going to instantly roll out, and now they can do that, and they can basically develop an entire rollout scheme if you utilize that stunt too often. So I normally use that against, lower skill level players or guys that I just don't think can pick up on really what I'm doing and how they encounter it. But also I just mix it in even against good players, and it will work from time to time. You just can't sit in it. So when they start rolling out, your counter is going to be, because I'm always going to give you guys counters. I'm not like these other YouTubers, right? So we're just going to spread our defensive line like we do with the regular Texas 4-man, but now we're going to call the left Texas 2-man stunt. And this is going to be a stunt, the same thing on the left side, but now we're able to contain the quarterback on the right. So again, we're going to stand right here over the center. They're going to utilize base protection, and you're going to notice how the same thing happens where on that left side we have the chance to come in free. Now, it's not going to be as consistent as the Texas 4-man just because you're not getting it on both sides, right? Let's just say each side had a 50% chance of it working. Well, when you have two 50% versus one, right, that's a whole lot better for you. And so, boom, you're just going to see same thing, stand over the center, try to get his attention. This time, we happen to get the coin flip, the luck of the draw. We get our guy to loop in free. But even at 50%, which is probably around how often this works, that's still really good for only a 2-man stunt. But also, you're going to notice how it's going to be the same thing. Spread that defensive line, call the left exit 2-man stunt. But now the advantage that we get, instead of having it on both sides, now we're going to be able to contain the quarterback. So when they try to roll out, I don't really know what he was doing, but he's going to be in a quarterback contain, and he's going to be able to make that play 9 times out of 10. I'm not really sure what he's doing right here, but you see how this is a contain angle right here? He runs upfield with the quarterback, and he kind of just runs right by the dude. Not to mention, though, you can still get this man to come in free and go chase the quarterback, right? Unfortunately for us, he just squirts through our two guys, but it's like, you're going to be able to not only get that guy to come in free very often, but you're also going to be able to contain the quarterback. So this is really a great blitz, a great stunt that you need to start utilizing, mixing in the Texas 4-man initially, but then maybe when they start countering it, then that's when you go to the left Texas 2-man, and you're going to be dominating on defense from a very simple pressure package. Alright, having a great pressure package like the Texas 4-man stunt is fantastic, but if you're not using the best defensive settings right now in CFB 26, your zones could miss a line and your defense could come out super wonky. Let me show you exactly the best settings to use right now. Alright, so these are some defensive settings that you probably don't know about, or no one's told you about before, right? That's the whole point of you watching this video. These are very important. So these are some settings here, gameplay helpers. These are the ones that you need to be using. Alright, defensive ball hawk, make sure this is on. This is going to help you catch interceptions a lot better when the ball is in the air. As it says, disabling this mechanic may cause user defenders to attack the ball less aggressively in the air. Alright, you do not need that to happen. You want to be able to catch interceptions. They're already hard enough to catch in this game, and if you turn this off, you're just going to get agged time and time again, and you don't want that to happen. Heat seeker assist, though, I'm going to talk about stopping the run later in this video, so make sure you stick around. And this is one of the biggest settings that can help you do that, because it's going to help you get those dive tackles on the ball carriers in the backfield, preventing them from speed boosting away from all of your other defenders, right? And then your window size, 100% is the default. Anything 100 and above, just make sure it's not below 100 and you're going to be fine. Switch stick delay, you never want to have any extra delay on your switch stick, so you always want to make sure that this is turned on to none. So those are settings, people always ask me this, those settings that I just showed you, you can set those one time and then have them saved for the rest of the year. You're going to be fine. But these coaching adjustments, which you're going to access by pressing the right stick or R3 in at the play call menu right here, right, these have to be set every single game, and you need to be changing them throughout the game as well, which is why it's important that you go ahead and set them every game. But these first three settings are going to be all about alignment. Like I said, if you're not using the best defensive settings, your whole defense is going to come out misaligned. So these are going to prevent your defenders from crisscrossing, from following receivers when they use cheat motions, anything, right? This is going to make sure that your slot corner comes out on the right side, having auto flip on. So all this stuff is super important before you even get into the blitzes, the coverages, anything like that. Making sure your guys are in the right spot. But also, if we scroll down, we're going to find zone drops, all right? Everyone loves to act like this is like some magic number that you have to set these to, right? I would like to just set them on default 5 default and kind of just let the coverages play how they're supposed to play, right? If you're getting beat by corner outs, crossers, something deep on the sideline, maybe moving your flats back to 25 can help you out. But for the most part, it's like just put your zone drops on default 5 default. Maybe if your hooks, you're not liking how they're playing, move them back to 10 or 5. But then safety depth on close, safety width on pinch. Now, this is what everyone's going to tell you to use, right? But they're also not going to mention the fact that if you're playing against, maybe LSU, South Carolina, Arkansas, teams that have fast receivers, right? It's like you have to make sure that you back your guys up, or just put the setting back on default so that you're not getting beat over the top. Everyone loves to take away the seams, right? Safety depth close, right? You see how Bray Hubbard, shout out to this broken game, but Bray Hubbard up the seam, he's going to be ready to defend that pass. But it's like, okay, well, if you don't, if they're just too fast, like if Ryan Williams has takeoff, or if Bray Hubbard can't get back there because he's too slow, you need to make sure that you move those settings back up to default so that your guys aren't getting ran by, especially when you're playing at huge team disadvantages. That's also really important. But if you can use the setting, that's fantastic. You use it, but you're going to be able to see how they can't just lob passes over the top. Simply because your guys, even though they're close to the line of scrimmage, they're still going to get back there and be able to defend over the top as well as the seam area. So the best defensive settings, super critical to playing good defense. In every situation, you want to make sure your guys are in the right spot. You want to make sure you can stop the run. You want to make sure you can catch interceptions. You also want to make sure that your zones are playing correctly. So those are the best defense settings you need to be using right now in CFB 26. All right, so if you enjoyed those first two tips I broke down here in College Football 26, make sure you go down below and hit that subscribe button. I break down defensive tips and tricks just like this every single day, and you're absolutely not going to miss out on any of them. But if you want my free guide to dominating on defense in College Football 26, go to the comment section, comment the word free, I'll send it over to you. Let's jump right back into the video. Alright, this next tip I'm about to share with you is one that everyone seems to forget. If you can't stop the run in this game, no one's going to pass the ball, and it's not going to matter. Let me show you the best way to stop the run here from single mug. Alright, so we're going to come into single mug here. We're going to just have them call an inside, zone type of play call. You want to make sure that you come into cover 4 quarters. I would say stopping the run from single mug is probably going to be the biggest challenge that you have with this formation, just because it's not the greatest alignment as far as run defense. Like, you see how even when you pinch your defensive line, they don't actually, crash in the middle. So really what you kind of want to do here is, if you're going to take this man, you can use the gap shoot method that I talk about, but what you're going to notice is a lot of time this center is just going to follow you. Like, he's literally just going to see you every single time, and he's going to go block you. So being able to loop around that offensive line is going to be a lot more challenging for you, and you're kind of going to be relying on some of these other guys to make plays. So that being the case, instead what you need to do is you can either take this linebacker right here and stand in the same spot so that you can loop around, or you could take the safety. I would probably just set it up something like this, where we have a cover 2 on the right side. I'm going to take over this man, stand in that same spot I talk about all the time, and now you're going to see how I can actually loop around and make the play, and the center's not going to be there to block me. So again, I'm going to take Jefferson. I'm going to stand 4 yards over the guard on the halfback side, just like I talk about all the time with run defense. And now what you're going to notice is, boom, I'm just going to take the snap, and I'm just going to be able to gap shoot that run very, very routinely and very easily. And that's where the heat seeker comes in. Right, what I told you in the last segment with defense settings, getting this suction Superman dive tackle on the ball carrier and being able to just cut his legs out right as he's, taking this handoff, right? You don't want to allow him to be able to get to the second level of the defense. You don't want to allow him to speed boost. But like I said, what's going to happen is, okay, center's going to occupy, or excuse me, this man's going to occupy the center, and then we're just going to come around all these other guys and make the play, just like any other, kind of gap shoot here from any other formation. The difference really is just you have to take over another man, and you can't just utilize the center, or excuse me, you can't just utilize the middle linebacker like you're normally able to from other defenses. So loop all the way around, and then you're just trying to get that suction dive tackle. Now I'm holding 2 controllers, so it's a little bit harder, but as long as you stand in the right spot, 4 yards over the guard on the halfback side, you loop around as soon as the quarterback touches the ball, right? Like right here is when you want to go, and then you kind of want to aim your left stick exactly where the running back's going to go. Now, if someone has good run stick, they can kind of like see your gap shoot coming, know it, and then like kind of cut back, kind of like the running back did there. So that's why it's important to mix in different run defenses. Like if you're specifically wanting to run single mug and you specifically want to run this defense, right, this is going to be the way to stop the run, right? Loop around and then try to do that right there, where that's kind of like unrealistic. Kind of just cut his legs out and kind of get that, dive tackle in the backfield for an easy, gain. Because you're also able to see how, if I don't make this gap shoot with my user, there is plenty of room for him to run. He has 2 pretty good gaps that he can run through, but I'm going to loop around, take away his first, window, force him to cut back, and then just dive right into his body, and you're just going to see how he's going to fall down to the ground. So, like I said, single mug, not exactly the greatest run defense, just because it looks really easy to run against. And if you just user this linebacker, yeah, I mean, it's just going to be, you're just going to get ran through. But actually, when you take this linebacker instead, stand in the correct spot, 4 yards over the guard on the halfback side, you're going to be able to stop the run pretty easily. Alright, so a reminder, if you're enjoying these defensive tips so far on how to run nickel 33 single mug to its fullest potential, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm the only one breaking down tips and tricks just like this every single day on College Football 26 to help you guys get better and you don't miss out on any of the content that I have. But let's jump right into the final 2 tips. Alright, I know that if you load up in your next game, you're going to have to somehow be able to stop corner routes, flood concepts, crossers, whatever they're going to use to attack the deep sideline. Let me show you the best defense to slow that down here from single mug. Alright, so we're still obviously going to be in single mug. We're going to come to our coaching adjustments, and this is why zone drops have to change throughout the game, because anytime you call a match coverage based play, meaning it has the little match icon on it, you need to make sure, like you see cover 9 here, for example, cover 4 quarters, right, even cover 3 buzz match, even in other defensive formations, but anytime that purple match indicator is on the play, you need to make sure that you have all 3 zone drop depths on default for the match coverage to play correctly. correctly. And match coverage is, as you're going to see here, is essentially just going to be zone coverage that converts to man coverage depending on the route concept and the play that the offense has called. But this defense is specifically designed, and it's really the best defense to stop these like flood concepts, because as we know, if you run regular cover 3, cover 2, cover 4, they're going to be able to attack you on the short side of the field with a flood concept like this. But really what you're going to notice right here is, I mean, really you could utilize the same Texas four-man custom stunt that I showed you earlier, right? You could combine that with this defense, but for the sake of showing the play here, I won't do that. But you're just going to see how on the right side, they're going to have a street corner flat concept called, and I don't even have to do anything. I could literally put my controller down, and you're going to see how we're going to perfectly be able to pass those routes off on that sideline, on that right side of the field, and be able to shut down corner routes. So you're just going to see it again right here, you know, running back out of the backfield. We're just going to take him. This is a quarter flat zone, which is going to, you know, just be able to sit on this, and then we're going to have our outside quarter right here is going to take the corner route, and then our inside quarter is going to take the streak up the field. Literally textbook communication on how to guard this. If I were to throw this corner route, this would get broken up obviously every time, and then same thing with this table route underneath. It's like they're going to call these plays because they're kind of reading your coverage, whatever that means now in this game, right? It's kind of dead, but you're just going to see how they're going to try to read your coverage. Oh, they only have, you know, they have 3 guys on that side. Let me try to attack them. I doubt that they can defend this play, but no, because we're literally in the perfect defense to be able to slow down their play here in this case. Now, like I said, this is going to work on, I mean, it really works on both sides of the field, but depending on the route concept they have called is how it kind of plays. And what I mean by that is, instead, if they were to call a route concept like this, where they have a mesh concept and they have a tight end crosser, the coverage is going to behave differently, right? Bray Hubbard, instead of going outside, is going to have to come inside probably to defend this tight end. And the most important thing is making sure you have a sound user when you're, you know, running match coverage and you're ready to switch stick, because you don't necessarily know for 100% certainty what play the offense is calling, which means you don't really know where your players are going to be on defense. That's why some people don't like this defense, but if you have a good switch stick, you're able to anticipate stuff, you're going to be fine. Like right here, this is literally textbook defense because I saw what was transpiring as the play was kind of developing. I saw that my guys were kind of migrating to the right side to defend this this drag, and then I just see that I have to just take this drag, because if I don't, it's going to be wide open. And then you're able to see this one I'm talking about. Bray Hubbard, instead of reading the shriek or the corner, now he's going to take the crosser over the top, and he's basically running this route for this guy, and this is very tight band coverage. So the first time, the coverage plays differently. The second time, the roles and responsibilities of both your user and your other players on defense are going to change. So again, like I said in the intros to this segment, it's like whether they're flood concepts, whether they're crossers, corners, posts, whatever it is, this is a great defense to be able to stop a lot of those vertically attacking routes. One last thing I want to mention though with match coverage, people get this confused. If you decide to hard flat, so run cover 4 quarters, but then hard flat, your coverage isn't going to play the same. It's no longer match coverage. Now you're just running cover 4 drop. And so that little matching principle is where guys are going to start following across the field. That's not going to happen on this play, especially with the flat zones. They're not going to carry any of the routes across the field. So you don't want to do that. That kind of defeats the purpose of the coverage. If you're going to do that, just run regular cover 4 drop and then shade your coverage down, or just put your curl flats on 5. So if you're going to be running match coverage, don't put hard flats, don't put curl flats, like don't even shade up, because now you see there's curl flats. So don't change any of those zones. Make sure they're always quarter flats, and then you have your 4 deep zones here with cover 4 quarters. But that's really the best defense to stop corner routes, flood concepts, really anything attacking vertically or towards the sideline. Alright, these coverages are fantastic. These blitzes are great for you on defense, but if you can't make adjustments fast enough, all of this isn't going to matter. Let me show you the best way to improve your adjustment speed here in CFB 26 by utilizing quick adjustments. Alright, so when we talk about quick adjustments, this can actually be done. I know this is a single mug video, but it's like you can quick adjust from every defense, every formation, every play in the game, and it's very, very important. Now, the reason why this is so important is, let's just say that I told you, okay, I want you to run cover 3 on this trip side, or excuse me, on this 3 receiver side, so the tight end, the running back, and the receiver, because I don't want you to get beat by a flood concept in cover 2. What you're probably going to do is you're going to start the play on Lawson. Click, 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 click. Now, 4 clicks in, Now I'm on the man I want to adjust. Now I'm going to press A. I'm going to look to see, okay, I need to put him in an outside third. All right, then I'm going to click. Oh, I get under Bray Hubbard. Now I can see inside. Like, that just takes too long. Now there's no flat over here on the right side, so if they call a flood concept or they just happen to have a flat run on the field, right, they're going to be able to throw that time and time again. So it's like you have to make adjustments faster in defense. I'm sure if you buy defensive ebooks, I'm sure if you watch streamers, pro players, even my videos, even in this video actually, I've made adjustments at a rapid pace, and you're wondering how you can do the same thing, and it's really by mastering quick adjustments, all right? So the way that you're going to get better with this, I have to drill this home in every single video because nothing else really matters on defense, guys. If you can't make adjustments, you're not going to be able to adjust to what your opponents are doing throughout the game. So make sure that you understand these 3 button commands. Pressing Y on Xbox twice or triangle on PlayStation twice is going to open your secondary adjustments. So your slot corner, your outside corner, and your safeties here. All right, so you're going to see all of their buttons. Every defense is going to have either 4 to 6 defensive backs on the field, and so you're going to have 4 to 6 buttons that you could press, right? And then if you press D-pad right twice, that's going to open your linebackers. Every formation is going to have 1 to 3 linebackers, or maybe 4, depending on the formation. But most formations, 1 to 3 linebackers, so X, A, or Y, right? And so then you're going to see if you press D-pad to the left twice, you're going to see X, Y, A, and B. So you're going to open your defensive line adjustments by pressing D-pad to the left twice. So those are very important because now what you're going to be able to see, let's reset this play. If I told you, okay, I want you to turn this into a cover 3 on the right side, now instead of having to click onto each guy individually, you're going to press Y twice, then you're going to press B, and then you're going to put him in outside third. You're going to press Y twice, you're going to press A, you're going to put him in inside third. You're going to press D-pad right twice to get onto that linebacker on the right side. It's also important to know which position group each guy is in, and you just get a better feel with that as you run the formation more and more. But you're just going to see how you're going to press A, you're going to put him in a curl flat. So also, it's about remembering what adjustments you like to make on certain players, and then what button commands that is for you to be able to press. So again, reset the play. I'm going to do it at full speed now. Boom, boom, boom. And now the defense is set up really under a second, right? Maybe 1.5 seconds, right? Just super fast. So I'm never going to really get quick snap as long as I know what adjustments I want to make pretty much before the snap or very early in the play. You don't want to make adjustments last second. That's how you blow coverages. But it's like, really, it's simple, guys. Remembering that, D-pad right twice opens the linebackers, D-pad right twice, D-pad left twice opens the D-line, D-pad right twice opens the linebackers, and then Y or triangle twice opens the secondary. And then when you get clicked onto your man, understanding and remembering what adjustments you like to make on that guy and really what button command that is. So D-pad, inside third, curl flat, hook zone, custom zone are really the ones I like to make on my safeties. Like I would never like blitz an outside corner, so I don't really need to remember that one. But yeah, that's quick adjustments, how you can get better with them, and it really just comes down to muscle memory and practice mode, remembering those 3 button commands, and also remembering which, buttons you want to press to do what specific action on that player. Alright, so if you enjoyed that breakdown of Nickel 33 single mug here in College Football 26, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I break down defensive tips and tricks just like this every single day on CFB 26, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But again, if you want a free guide to dominate on defense with even more tips and tricks, make sure you go to the comment section and comment the word free. I'll send over the link right now. But if you want 5 offensive tips to save on your phone in your next game and always remember them, check out this video right here where I break those down. I'll see you over there. Peace.